We all know laws are there for a reason, even if we don't always follow them. I mean, let's be honest, who doesn't speed every once in a while? Or all the time in my case. And for those of us who have lived in Rexburg, I know you've all jaywalked at least once or twice. But laws keep us and those around us safe. And generally, when we do break them, we're usually pretty aware of what we're doing. But how often do you break the law without knowing it? I'm sure we're all aware that there are some laws that seem to have no rhyme or reason whatsoever and could catch you unawares. So, here's a list of the top 10 strangest laws in the United States. Number 1. In Washington, you can be arrested or fined for harassing Bigfoot, Sasquatch, or other like creatures. This law was passed on April 1st of 1969. The county commissioner actually had to release a special statement saying that the law was in fact not an April Fool's joke. Number 2, it is illegal for a single woman to go parachuting on Sundays in Florida. Although there is no record of a ticket ever being written for this law, it is still in effect today. Number 3, camel hunting is prohibited in Arizona. At one point, the U.S. Army experimented with camels in the deserts of Arizona, but had to give the project up. The camels were then let loose and are now protected. Number 4, if you're a pet owner, don't move to Boulder, Colorado. The residents of this town are not allowed to own pets, but can be pet minders. Also, you're not allowed to kill any birds within the city limits. Number 5, in Wisconsin, serving margarine instead of butter to students, patients, or inmates is fine-worthy. Unless it is for medical reasons, butter should always be served. Number 6, it is illegal for a person to attend a public event and or use any form of public transportation if they've eaten any garlic or onions in the last 4 hours in Indiana. It is considered a public offense. Number 7, if you're in Wyoming, it is against the law to spit on the sidewalk. This actually came from a time when tuberculosis was more prevalent and the state was worried about the spread of the disease. Number 8, bear wrestling matches are prohibited in Alabama. In fact, you can be arrested or fined for watching, talking about, participating in, or taking money for bear wrestling, as well as selling trained bears for such events. Number 9, in Texas, if you want to alter the weather, you must first obtain a license and permit to modify weather. This law was passed in 1967 to monitor cloud seeding, which promotes moisture retention. And last but not least, number 10, if you're a bad singer, it's best to avoid North Carolina, since it is illegal to sing off key. This actually stems from a case when a man was singing obnoxiously in a church and causing other problems. The law is really more about disturbing others, and you're more likely to get charged with public disturbance. So I'll ask again, how often have you broken the law without realizing it? Each of these laws are or were at one point in effect in the United States. And unfortunately, ignorance of the law is no excuse. So if you plan on avoiding a life of crime, I suggest getting to know more about where you live and places you plan to visit.